Greetings, Pool Player Nation. Jason Bowman here, joined by Bill Tufts, and we are just a couple of weeks away from our World Pool Championships in Las Vegas, the world's largest pool tournament, according to our folks at Guinness Records. That's
Guinness,
not just a
yeah.
fancy tagline. That's legit,
That's
if
legit.
you will. And so we're here today to talk you guys through the process of preparing for your trip to Vegas. We're going to talk a little bit about what to do once you're in Vegas, and some details about the event. Just overall, a lot of information to help you prepare to have a great time.
It's pretty easy to have a great time out there as long as you take these lessons that we're going to give, all the information we're going to give to the players on what to expect, what to do, how to do it, and make sure that you enjoy yourself as much as possible while you're out there.
Yeah, if you've never been to one of our events in Vegas, it can be a little overwhelming. There's a lot of information to absorb, and I guess the good thing with this particular event is hopefully you've got some teammates that maybe have a little bit of a experience to help you along the way.
A little bit more support than, say, the tournament we were just coming from, the 8-ball classic, 9-ball shootout,
Sure.
Pool Player Championships. This one, travel in packs. So a lot of friends come along, tend to influence one way or the other on the matches or outside of the matches. So that could be a good or bad thing. Most important thing is that everybody comes out and has a good time.
That's right. So let's jump right in and help you guys get prepared. I know here in St. Louis, we're already starting to pack, or we've been packing probably for a number of weeks. And so I know you guys at home are preparing to pack as well. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things you are going to need to make sure you bring to Vegas. And I think it all starts with a comfortable pair of shoes.
Absolutely. So the one thing Vegas is known for, outside of just the nightlife and the gambling, long walks, concrete floors. It's no different at the Westgate. Definitely make sure you have a good pair of shoes on. I don't know about you, Jason, but everything seems like it's really close.
Sure.
Including some of our tables. They seem like they're right next to each other. It can be quite the walk between. And that pretty much goes for everything in that town. It's always a little bit further than you think, but it's always on concrete.
All right, so make sure you've got a good pair of tennis shoes. Don't just rely on your flip-flops or your sandals, which is great to bring too, but comfortable shoes is definitely a must. Like Bill said, something will look like it's just across the street, but that'll be a 15 to 20-minute walk to get there. So keep that in mind. The other thing we like to remind folks to do is to bring a light jacket, maybe a hoodie, something long sleeve, because while it is crazy hot in Las Vegas in August, outside, inside the casinos, they like to keep things very cool.
Yeah, I think right now, I heard Vegas is actually in a heat wave, right? That part of the country. So even for Vegas, it's hot right now. But what I can tell you, when it gets hot outside, they crank up the AC on the inside. So that's great for play during the day, right? Mid part of the day, keeps it nice and cool so that the 114, 116 doesn't creep in too much. However, as the night goes on, the AC's been going all day, people start to exit the spaces. What we find is that the rooms do become a little bit chilly. So definitely make sure that you bring a jacket, something light that you can throw on, take off at will, right? But make sure you have it. Just because it's Vegas, it's not all shorts and short sleeves.
Yeah, definitely some layering there helps out quite a bit. The other thing in terms of clothing to pack, should probably talk a little bit about what to wear just in case your team makes it all the way to Pool Dog Arena, which is where we hold the semifinals and finals of all of our championship matches.
Yeah, so it is a different dress code in there. Basically, with that dress code, what we've done is we're telling you what you can wear as opposed to what you can't. What we found is it's really hard to tell people what they can't wear, right? It's a lot easier if we kind of give guidelines and say, look, within this framework, you can wear these things. So if you do make it to the Pool Dog Championship Arena, the appropriate dress includes slacks or khakis, dress shirt, open collared shirt, polo shirt, or matching team shirts. The team events only for the matching team shirts, and the matching is very important whenever we're talking about that. We have had teams show up, same name, same host location sometimes, where they play locally, not the same shirt. The only way we're going to allow those is if they're matching. Conservative athletic or walking shoes, as we talked about, comfortable. Loafers, clogs, sneakers, flats, dress heels, dress sandals, open-toe shoes, and leather deck-type shoes are acceptable. Notice we're not saying sandals, flip-flops, things like that, right? So make sure you pay attention to it. What we find is that most don't expect to get that far, right? Sure. And by the time they realize that they really have a chance to do it, they often don't have time to run and go get clothing. So make sure that you pack just in case. Plus, there'll be a couple nights where you'll probably want to get outside,
Sure,
go
have
somewhere.
a nice dinner, maybe hit
Yeah,
a club.
just something nice, shirts like we're wearing, slacks, you're good to go.
Okay, so again, plan to be in that championship arena. Although there's several hundred teams and you may not make it that far, at least plan to be there, because again, the last thing you want to do is be scrambling around late at night or early in the morning before you have to play an important match, trying to find clothes to wear. That is the last thing you want to have to focus on before an important match. So plan accordingly, pack accordingly, and be prepared.
Yeah.
The next thing we want to talk a little bit about is getting your cue, your very important piece of equipment, to Las Vegas. You cannot carry, at least in most cases, you cannot carry your cue stick and case onto an airplane. We've heard stories from time to time about people that are able to get through TSA. And again, this part of this conversation is going to center around assuming most people are flying out to Las Vegas. I know some will drive, but for those of you that are flying, you're going to want to pack your cue inside of some type of checked luggage. All right, so if you're bringing a big suitcase, you're checking it, it's going underneath the plane. Put your cue case in there, wrap it up tight around, with clothes around it, make sure it's nice and padded. And that's how most folks are going to bring their cue case to Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to get a cue out there. Like Jason said, some have tried, some airlines, sometimes the flight attendants will let you bring on something, they'll put it in kind of their cabinet or whatever else. I wouldn't count on that. Definitely make sure that it's packed. It's the tool you're going to use while you're out there, right, while you're playing. So make sure that you have packed it well. If you cannot or don't plan on bringing it on the plane, but you're still flying out, you could always ship it, right? It's more expensive. There is a FedEx at the Westgate, though. You can ship it directly there. It's going to cost you a little bit, but you also have the convenience of knowing that your cue will be there when you arrive, if everything goes well. Again, shipping things, not a guarantee. The easiest way to guarantee it's going to be with you when you get in Vegas is to keep it as close to you as possible.
Yeah, and if for some reason you happen to lose your cue doesn't show up, what have you, the good news is we have dozens and dozens of exhibitors that are going to be there in Las Vegas selling cues of all kinds of price points, cue repair folks there doing tips and things like that. So worst case scenario, if something does happen to your cue, you're in the perfect place to get a replacement. So don't let it, don't let it slow you down too much.
Yeah, cue repair. I mean, it's one of the largest billiard trade shows, or I should say exhibitor shows that people don't know about, really. Everybody that's gone can see it. I mean, we do have dozens and dozens. Anything that you want in the pool world, you can get it there. So you're not at a loss, if you lose your cue on the way out. If you happen to lose your cue while you're there, same thing. What I will say, Jason, and this might be jumping the gun a little bit, but we do have a lot of people that lose cues in Las Vegas. We also have, it's Vegas, so sometimes you get some people in the rooms that aren't APA. They're not there as players. They are there looking to take things. So we want to make sure that with your cues, with any of your belongings, while you're out there, be cognizant of where you're putting them, right? Make sure you know where they're at. If you do lose it, come to us. We do have a lost and found. Also, our staff will help you try to find it if we can, if we think it's still in the room. But definitely watch your belongings.
What amazes me is how many times we see that people lose their cues and they end up in lost and found, but nobody ever comes back for them. No cues end up coming back here to St. Louis, and nobody ever calls. Nobody ever says, "Hey, did you find this?" And it kind of amazes me.
We've had I've been with APA 20 years. We've been bringing back cues from every single event, and every single event we've had this knowledge out there that we do have a lost and found. I think a lot of times what happens is people just assume that it's been stolen, that there isn't a good person that came and returned their cue in, or that one of our officials didn't find it and turn it in for them. So it's a little disappointing when we get it and we don't have like any kind of verification in there, no way of knowing who actually owned this. That's why we say always check. It doesn't hurt to check. Up until the time you leave, come down to our event info booth. That's where our lost and found is. Definitely check with them.
Yeah.
So you'd be surprised how many people have actually gotten their cue. While we're there. But still, how many we come back with is too many.
Yeah, maybe even throw a note in the pocket of your cue case with your name and phone number just in case. I mean, again, hopefully that doesn't happen to you, but you might be surprised how many times somebody picks it up. There's a lot of honest people out in Vegas, especially if they're part of Pool Player Nation and they want to get your cue back to you. But if there's no information, it just goes to the lost and found. And if you never check, it comes back here to St. Louis with us and just kind of sits sometimes for years.
Yeah, it's kind of like your luggage, right? You put a tag on your luggage just in case it gets lost somewhere. Do the same with your queue.
Yeah. All right, so now you know what to pack in terms of clothes. You know how to get your queue to Vegas. Let's get into some of the tournament preparation things you need to do before you head out to Las Vegas. One of the biggest ones you can do is make sure you are registering online for the tournaments you're participating in. That registration is scheduled to open July 20th. So depending on when you are seeing this preview, just know that beginning July 20th, that is when you can start registering. You will do that through your member services account. You will see a little notification in your account on July 20th. You just follow that notification and allow you to register. You'll also be getting emails from us reminding you to register. So I would imagine your league operator will be encouraging you to register. But again, make things easy on yourself and make sure you register before you head out to Las Vegas.
Yeah, this has been huge, online registration. It does allow every member of the team to register before they come out, which in effect makes them skill level eligible on their roster before they even show up for the tournament, right? So how it works is if you're registered, your skill level will print on a score sheet. If for some reason you can't make it, something happens, your flight gets delayed, anything, right? Travel issues. If you've already registered and you're already in our system, you're already printing on the score sheet, then your team can use your skill level towards the handicap limit of your event. If you don't sign it, if any of the members of your team do not do the online registration, do not go through that process, there is an extremely limited on-site availability for registration, just for, pretty extreme cases where people don't have access to the online registration. But you can't do that until you get on site, right? If you do it prior to and you get your teammates to do it, I'm talking to you, captains, you get your teammates to do it, then you know that your roster is good to go heading into Vegas. You don't have to worry about it. Once you get on site, if you've already registered, your entire team's registered, you're good to go.
Let the party begin.
Yeah, you can come pick up your goodie bag and your travel assistants, team captains, that's you again. You can come do that, but you can kind of wait on that. You don't have to do that before you play. As long as you've already done the online registration, you're good to go.
Excellent. So again, make sure you start registering for your particular tournament beginning July 20th. And save yourself a wait in line probably. You're going to wait in some lines on your way to Vegas, maybe at the airport, maybe at the hotel. Do yourself a favor. Don't wait in that registration line if you don't have to.
That's the last one you want to be standing in if we're about to get a round out, because I can't say this any more bluntly. If we print the score sheet, it goes out, it's done for that round. If you're not on there, you didn't register, you might be standing in the line to register, score sheet already went out, you've got to sit out that round. So again, everybody, register online. That's the safest way to do it. Ensures that you're good to go and your team can use your skill level whether you arrive on time or not.
There you go. Another thing you're going to want to do before you head to Las Vegas is review the event program. You will find the event program on our website, poolplayers.com. We will be pushing that out through social media, so it'll be out there on Facebook. But you're going to want to go through the program and just kind of familiarize yourself with everything that's about to happen at the event, right? Different schedules and agendas. You've got rules in there. You've got Mini Mania schedule that you can check out if you're planning to play in Mini Mania. And we'll talk more about that as we go. Just a lot of information. You can see which vendors are going to be out there. You can see which fan favorites, Dr. Q, Florian Kohler, even Jeanette Lee, the Black Widow, is going to be there. And you can see particular dates and times that you can meet some of these folks out there, maybe get an autograph, a photo. So there is just a whole lot of information in the event program. Make sure you take a look at that before you ever come out to Vegas. And again, that'll be out there on our website. Easy to digest, flip right through it. It is all electronic. If it's been a few years since you've been to our event in Vegas, we do the event program completely electronic now. No printing, no paper. COVID did away with all of that good stuff. And I think for the most part, it's been pretty popular because you're able to access that information long before you ever get to Vegas.
That we don't have to get information in there prior to when it's really ready.
Yeah.
There were some limiting factors of having to print it off and having to have those come in, the print jobs come in before we went out to Las Vegas. Now we're able to stack that event program with all the pertinent information that you guys need. We know it's accurate. We know it's ready to go. we make it so that you guys read it and use it because it's a vital tool to this whole process. So make sure that you download that, keep it on your phone. It's handy. It's really handy. Everything you need to know is in there.
Absolutely. So we've talked about registering for the event online. We've talked about reviewing the event program. You're also going to want to download the Compusport app, compusport.us, or I'm sure you can search Compusport, but the Compusport app is your online event bracket. It's when you can see when you're going to play. You can get notifications about when your match is coming up. Lots of good information there, and it's a great way to kind of follow along the entire tournament, right?
Yep. It's a tournament. Brackets. I mean, it's key. It's the one thing that within the event program, your specific schedule, right, is located in the Compusport. So while the event program will provide the general idea for everything and all the things that we've got going on, your specific schedule is held within Compusport. That's how you know when you're going to play next, win or lose, where you're going to play after that, or if you're out, if you're in the money, if you're not. All of that stuff goes through Compusport, so make sure that you download that. We will also have kiosks set up around the tournament areas for those of you that don't want to download the app on your phone or don't have a phone that'll do that or whatever reason. We have kiosks set up. We also have staff that are available to help you. Event information is a great place to go. We've got both. We've got people standing right there ready to help you, and we've got the kiosk right next to it so they can walk you through it, show you how it works.
Now, I know Compusport won't be populated with the match times and everything, for a little bit. Like, when does that come out right before the event?
It's normally about 48 hours prior to the start, before the very first event.
Okay.
We will set the brackets for the remainder of the event. So once we do it 2 days before the event starts, that would be August 1st-ish. Once that's out, everything will be out. So you'll be able to see all the brackets, all the different events, and how they're scheduled.
Okay. So yeah, again, you're going to want to make sure you download the app, get familiar with Compusport. What I really like about it is, it allows you to kind of see what your schedule is going to look like, win or lose. So if if you and your teammates are trying to see a show or walk the strip or do, some of the amazing things there are to do in Las Vegas, it kind of shows you when you might have windows of time to do those kinds of things.
Absolutely. And you can follow yourself, right, your own progress, but also your teammates. Say they're in some Mini Mania events, maybe they're in another event that's happening in conjunction with the event you're in them with. You can follow them. You can map that out. You can dive as deep as you want to into that to figure out when are you going to be playing, when are you going to have time available, when do you get to the money, when do you not, that kind of thing.
Nice. Compusport.us is where you will find the ability to download, or I'm sure you can just search through your app store. Too. So make sure you download the app, get familiar with Compusport. The last thing we want to mention that you make sure you bring to Las Vegas, I know we've talked a lot about packing, bring your identification, your driver's license or a passport, maybe both, in case you lose one, but you're definitely going to need some type of valid identification for a number of reasons, right? If you're flying out there, you'll need it to get on the airplane, to get through TSA. Once you get to the hotel, you're going to need it to get checked in. And at the tournament, you're going to need it as well, right?
Yes, at the tournament, you need to show your ID prior to the start of your individual match. So if you're in one of our team events, before you actually lag, right, for your match, you're going to exchange IDs with your opponent. Your ID needs to match what we have on the score sheet within reason. My name's William. Right. I go by Bill. How many people don't know that Bill is short for William? It's kind of alarming, actually, but I think most would, but some people don't. And if it doesn't match, there can be problems. People don't think you're necessarily who you say you are. That can happen. It can also happen, ladies getting married, most typically. Last name change, right? Might not match what your name was when you qualified. If that's changed, you want to let us know so that we can update our system. Or we cannot update our system if your name hasn't been updated yet on your ID. So it's all these things, but make sure you've got a valid ID that matches your member services account is actually the easiest thing to match it to, because that's what we're going to have on all of our score sheets.
Yeah. You know what the shorter version of Richard is?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. I got an uncle named Richard. So.
Rich.
Hey, Uncle Richard.
It's Rich.
All right, so we've talked a little bit about preparing for Vegas. Let's talk about what you're going to do once you arrive in Las Vegas. And again, most of you are going to be coming to Las Vegas on an airplane. So once you get to Vegas and you get to the airport, McCarran Airport, or is it Harry Reid Airport now? Maybe a little bit of both, right? I'm not sure.
I think it's Harry Reid.
But once you arrive at the Las Vegas airport, you're going to need transportation to the hotel, whether that is the Westgate that you're staying at or one of the other properties there in Las Vegas. There are several different ways you can get from the airport to your hotel. The number one thing that you don't want to do is attempt to walk from the airport to any hotel in Las Vegas. It is unsafe. It is not a pedestrian-friendly route.
No.
Please do not attempt to walk to your hotel.
Yeah, I know we've said this on another one of these before, but we know somebody who did this.
Yeah.
And not a good experience.
He
for
made
them.
it. He made it, but
I don't think it was the
I'd
heat wave
recommend
that
it.
they're going through now either. All the reasons Jason said, don't walk. Find a shuttle, get a cab, get an Uber. Right.
Lots of opportunities.
All those are there. Get a limo.
Yeah.
If you want to do it in style, anything, just don't walk.
Yeah. So let's talk about the ways that you do want to get to the hotel. Number one, there's a number of different price points for different ways to get there, right? Your lowest price point is probably going to be taking a shuttle van, which is going to consist of a number of different people, usually 12, maybe 15 people, all packed into the shuttle. You will stop at several different hotel properties on your way to whichever hotel you're going to, whether that's the Westgate or another one. And that's going to be your most cost-effective way to get from the airport to your hotel. A lot of folks are going to take either a cab or an Uber. I would say the majority of people get to the hotel that way. Cost is pretty comparable now between the Uber and the Lyft service and the cabs. Within the last year, 2 years, they started doing price guidelines for the cabs, where there's no more long hauling where they take you all the way around Vegas to your hotel and charge you an exorbitant amount for a cab.
If your Uber guy does that, that's a little odd too.
Yeah, you should be able to look at your Uber or your Lyft before you get on to see how much it's going to cost. So the one advantage I would say to the cab, taking a cab over the Uber, you have to go a little bit further in the airport to get to the rideshare location. The benefit of the rideshare over the cab may just be, depending on when you arrive, the line at the cab stand sometimes can be long.
I think the line moves pretty quick, though.
It does, and it always looks long when you get there, but again, the cabs are coming in and out pretty quickly.
Where I don't know if that's the same for the car services. I have seen those lines grow pretty long, with the ride share versus the cabs, but I tend to be a cab guy these days.
Cab or Uber is generally my way of getting from the airport to the hotel. And then on the high end, you have the limousines, right? You can actually get a limousine there at the airport. So maybe if it's you and your teammates' first time and there's several of you there, it's going to cost you a little bit more money, but maybe you want to splurge a little bit, enjoy your first moments in Vegas, and a limousine is kind of a cool way to do it as well.
Yeah, I think whenever you're talking about splitting it between multiple people, it's not as expensive as you might think. Take that Uber fare, right? And assume that maybe you're all going to pay that at most, but still you're not talking $200 or so. I think it's cheaper than that. I guess it also depends on the size and the type of limo that you want to ride.
Size of limo, time of day, supply and demand, all those things will impact the cost of that. But again, if you're looking to do it up a little bit, that might be appropriate for you and the way to go. So those are your transportation options when you get to Las Vegas. So once you get to the hotel, and again, I think most people will be staying at the Westgate, but not everyone, because when you have an event the size that we do, there just aren't enough rooms at the Westgate for everybody to stay there. But once you get to your hotel, whether that's the Westgate or another property, make sure you get checked into the hotel. Get all settled in if you can. Now, if you're arriving early before your room is ready at the hotel, highly recommend you check your luggage with the bellhop. So you're not having to drag your suitcase all around the hotel to familiarize yourself with things.
Yeah, if you come in early prior to your check-in time, you can always check with the front desk. You might have to stand in a very long line to find out that your room's not ready, but then you can at least still get checked in to your room. And what Jason said, take your luggage over to the bellhop, let them, take care of it. And then whenever your room's ready to go, they'll bring it right up to you, or you can go back to the desk and pick it up yourself, either way, right? But definitely the check-in process, look at the line. If the line's super long, you have no need to just jump into it. You don't have to, right? Just make sure that you do check in on the day you're supposed to. It is a very, very booked up hotel. As Jason said, it's impossible for this event to be at one hotel, right? And I will extend that through the whole of Vegas. It's too big. We have too many people to fit at one single hotel. So if you don't check in, somebody else may, right? So make sure that, when you get there, assess your situation, and then the registration line's right there. If you don't want to carry your bags, bell desk.
Absolutely. So get checked into your hotel. Once you are checked into your hotel, familiarize yourself with the host hotel, which is the Westgate, right? So if you're staying at the Westgate, familiarize yourself with the property, where things are at. Most importantly, the tournament area. Know how to get down to the tournament area. Now, you may not be able to get all the way into the tournament room depending on when you arrive, right? Things may still be getting set up and that kind of thing if you're heading out for one of the first tournaments that we have. But make sure you kind of know at least where you're going. That way, when it's time to get down to the tournament room, you know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, it's not that difficult, really. If you're arriving later after the event's already started, right, you're a few days in, you're 9-ball, you're one of those groups, follow the pool sticks, right? They're going to be going one of two directions. Follow the ones that still look excited versus the ones that look like they just, either won or didn't, right? But if they're excited, that means they're heading down to our area. The convention space, you can't miss it. It's big. It's absolutely massive, and there's one hallway that really gets you down there. But definitely look around. Check out the table numbers, right? We've got the tables numbered in a way that hopefully keeps it straight for people, but we've got nearly 300 of these things and 3 different rooms, very sizable rooms. As I said, they're not necessarily close together. If you got to be at one table versus another within the space, definitely make sure you're aware of where those are.
Absolutely. So familiarize yourself with the Westgate, with where the tournament area is, and
The event
where
program.
you're going. Yeah.
I want to mention the event program does have a map, guys. So if you're one of those that likes to look at a map prior to, you can look at an overview map of the Westgate space and kind of start to familiarize yourself that way.
That's a good point. Once you are in the tournament area, I know one of the questions that comes up quite a bit, Bill, is where can we practice? When can we practice? Are there tables available for practice?
So we do have limited amount of practice tables, right? We definitely have conference rooms that are dedicated the entire time to practice. But again, when we're talking about the size of the group that we've got in-house and the fact that we have to use most, if not all of the tables in the 3 big ballrooms that we've got just to run rounds of play, there can be times where practice tables are hard to come by. Right? We try to maximize that as much as possible. We do have practice tables in the mini mania room. We also have practice tables in the conference room, where I said, and on your registration day, typically there is a practice time available I shouldn't say registration day, on the day you arrive, because you've already registered online, I do believe, right? The day you arrive, the rooms open to practice, right? Okay. So up until we start kicking off rounds. Once we kick off rounds, then there's no practice between rounds.
Okay. So if you're in one of the earlier events like the 8-Ball Open, there's, on the front end before things get going, there's a lot of opportunity. For
yeah. So that day up until we kick off the first round, which off the top of my head I think is 4:30, but I could be wrong about that one. Up until that time that we actually kick off rounds for the event, we'll have practice, and the full practice schedule is also located in the event program.
Excellent. Now I know most of the tables are open for the events. But
for the
practice
registered
tables,
events, yes.
for the practice tables and Mini Mania, you do have to pay for the tables. We have a new digital solution for that, right? You want to talk a little bit about that?
So there are 2 ways. During practice times, our tables are closed. All right, that's for everyone. If you're in the 8-ball World Championships, 9-ball World Championships, or any of our Showdown Series events, Masters, Ladies, Jack and Jill, team captains, once you begin your rounds of play, the tables are open to you. So there's no more paying for tables. Mini Mania and any remaining practice, closed, right? You still have to pay for games. There are 2 methods for paying for those games. Those 2 methods are tokens, where you walk up, put your money into the machine, it gives you tokens, right? Not dollars anymore. I want to be clear about that. They are tokens. The tokens equate to $1 per, and it's $1 per game for practice or for Mini Mania. There is a new digital service, PayRange, that Jason alluded to. PayRange allows you to download their app, right? The tables are installed with PayRange. Through the app, you can actually pay for practice. Nice. So through your app, you pay for the game, table drops the balls, and you're good to go. We will have PayRange officials on site, right? There's a team of them to help walk everybody through this. We did go through it for the first time at the Pool Player Championships. Yeah. I think by the end, it was well over 80%, maybe even higher, of our players were using PayRange over the token option.
Nice.
Right?
Very popular.
Very convenient, very popular. It worked great. So we're expecting the same. If you guys have any questions on that, make sure you come and find a tournament official or pay range.
Okay. And of course, we will be playing on the new APA Diamond Tournament Edition tables, 300 or thereabouts diamond tables being brought in for this event. 7-foot tables for those that maybe aren't familiar asking, but anything you want to mention about the equipment?
Awesome. Great partnership. Great tables. They look beautiful. They play excellent. I know our players were ecstatic about them at the Pool Player Championships, and I don't think it's going to be any different here at the World Pool Championships. I think everybody's going to be super impressed with these tables. Excellent.
So good equipment for you guys to play on. Of course, we've got Aramith Balls, our official ball provider, so it should just be a great equipment for you guys to have the experience of a lifetime on. So we've talked a little bit about the exhibitors. I'll show you guys a quick list of all of the exhibitors that we will have in Las Vegas. There are a few dozen of them, everything from cues to apparel to cue repair, just a wide variety. I think you mentioned it's one of the biggest exhibitor shows for pool in the country there at the World Championships. So, whatever you want to look for related to the pool industry, the pool world, you'll be able to find here at our event. Maybe pick up some Christmas gifts for folks back home or birthday gifts or what have you, but certainly an opportunity to do some shopping.
If they don't have it, I don't know who would, right? Or you just haven't looked at enough booths, because really it is everything that you could want. So definitely go through that list, identify the ones that you like, make sure you stop by and support those guys. They support the event as well. It is more than just a tournament in this way. It's also an opportunity to see new products, to go out there, try something new, get something repaired if you want to, meet people. Right? It's good. Great opportunity.
Yeah. So make sure you frequent the exhibitors while you're out there. Also want to mention some of our fan favorites. I know we touched on this, but I'll mention it again. We'll have Dr. Q, Tom Rossman, always a favorite, longtime favorite, good friend of APA, will be out there doing shows. Florian Venom Kohler, the internet trick shot sensation, who lives there in Las Vegas, is actually an APA League operator there in Las Vegas. He will be over at the event for a few shows. And of course, the return of the Black Widow, Jeanette Lee, and the opportunity for you guys to interact with her. She will be there for several days, signing autographs. I think she's going to play some challenge matches, do some photo opportunities. So would strongly recommend you spend some time with Jeanette if you can, because she just does not make it out as often. Of course, her well-documented battle with cancer that she's been fighting for the last couple of years, but the good news is she's feeling great right now, and she's going to be out there interacting with Pool Player Nation, and so that is very exciting news, and we look forward to seeing her for sure.
Yeah, we're pumped. That Pro Exhibition Arena right between the two biggest ballrooms, where our 8-ball world champion or world championships and 9-ball world championships will play, sandwiched right in the middle. There's a grill in the back.
Yeah.
It's a great spot. We've got other vendors in that space as well, so pretty awesome.
Nice. So in addition to we'll have 6 separate tournaments going on in Las Vegas. You've got the 2 World Championships, which is the 8-ball and the 9-ball World Championships. Then you've got the Ladies 8-ball Championship. You've got the Masters Championship. You've got the Jack and Jill Doubles Championship. And then you have the Team Captains Championship. So you've got 6 tournaments. I believe the payout combined for those is, if my numbers were correct, $1.3 million or somewhere around there.
Yeah, just a little bit of cash there.
And then you've also have, in addition to those events, you've got Mini Mania events. I think I saw somewhere that we're going to have like 800 separate Mini Mania events that'll go on throughout the 10 days, as well as the Mega Mania events, which are a little bit larger events. You want to talk a little bit about Mini Mania and Mega Mania?
Yeah, Mini Mania, I think smaller brackets, smaller entry fee to get in, but they're quicker. And those, you'll see many, many more of those. Like, I believe the graphic shows 801 events. Wow. We're only going to have 4 Mega Mania, but they are sizable. We're talking fields of 64 teams, doubles, 8-ball, 9-ball, different skill level groupings for the within the 4 different events. So definitely check those out. It's an opportunity for us to offer something a little bit larger than the Mini Mania, right? Without going whole hog on like brand new formats. But it gives our players one more opportunity, to compete in something while they're out there after their main event's over, or if they just came out to experience Vegas and they happen to be a player that has the scores, the requirements met, they can enter into these too. So again, just another add-on to otherwise excellent event with plenty of other opportunities for play.
Excellent. So I know the Mini Mania schedule is in the event program, or you can link to it from the event program. What is the registration like for Mini Mania and Mega Mania?
Okay, there's a line for these. There is a line. That line will start forming pretty early in the morning as well. If you want to be in an event, you need to make sure that you get in that line quickly, right?
Yeah.
Be respectful. Everybody's really good. You know, we don't have line jumping or anything like that, but it is very popular. And again, we're talking supply and demand here. We've got thousands of pool players. Over 15,000 are going to be coming out for this event. That's the registered players. Those are the ones that are actually just competing in those 6 events that you said.
Right.
We've got a lot of friends and family that play APA that are coming as well.
Yeah.
And everybody's fighting for those Mini Mania spots. So make sure that you get in that line early, get the events that you want, right? And if you, for some reason, can't play, make sure you bring that ticket back up to our control stage and return it while you still have time.
Yeah.
So that we can offer it to somebody else and get you your money back.
Yeah, and it seems like those are always sold pretty quickly. Somebody will say, "Oh, we've got a spot in this tournament." Yada yada.
That's the old way, but now how we do it is it'll just go back into the pot.
Oh, okay.
Basically. So the next person in line has that availability as opposed to the old auction style, which
Yeah.
was
Pretty
great.
cool to watch. Yeah,
It was
exciting
great
to watch.
if you were
Little
the
chaotic,
first hand
though.
that our staff saw,
Yeah.
right? But if you thought that your hand went up before the other guy's hand went up, it could create a little bit of consternation. So we decided it's better if it goes back into the pool. That way, anybody that's within that line has an opportunity to buy that spot.
That makes a lot of sense. And is it 20? I mean, can you register for when you're once I'm up at the Mini Mania desk? Can I register for Mini Mania events throughout the tournament? Is it only
No.
24 hours out?
No. And actually, I'm going to pull up that rule because we did change that slightly. I believe it's 24 hours. So we used to have a rule where it was 48 hours. And what would happen is people would buy up a bunch of spots, as many as they could get, and then they may have an actual match that they had to play in. So they wouldn't show up for these. And we were having no shows and things like that. Plus, again, the supply and demand, we want the opportunity to be there for everyone.
Sure.
So while I'm pulling this up, just to verify real quick that, I was wrong, 48 hours. It is 48 hours. So I think we did the 24 once, but maybe we figured 48 is good enough. It used to be, it really did used to be, I think it was the entire event.
Yeah.
You could just book out all the way.
Yeah.
And so by the time people would actually fly in, every spot for Mini Mania was already gone. So this is a better way of going about it.
Okay.
And we will offer 8-ball, 9-ball, right? Different skill level groupings for those. We do have some doubles events for the Mini Mania as well.
Okay.
100% payback.
Nice.
So
Excellent. So lots to look forward to in Las Vegas. One of the things that we haven't mentioned, we'll have 49 states represented at this year's World Pool Championships and 4 countries. We'll have the United States, we'll have Canada, we'll have Japan, who's been
That
there
fourth
for
country,
several years,
huh?
and our newest country, Singapore. I understand some folks from Singapore will be making the very long trip over to compete in the World Championships this year. So that's very exciting as well to have a new country represented there.
it's awesome to have those guys coming over, as well as our Japanese players. Anytime we can expand the APA footprint, bring in people from around the world, it's excellent. I just want to know where that 50th state is.
North Dakota.
North Dakota.
What's up with you, North Dakota?
Come on, North Dakota.
Any of you guys got some family in North Dakota? There's a great opportunity there if they want to start APA
I'm guessing
league,
I guess in the World Qualifier wouldn't be too large either. Maybe a little bit easier
North
way
Dakota.
of qualifying for it. A few less teams.
North Dakota, you're on the board. So, I don't know, is there anything else you want to touch on about the event? I know we've covered a lot of information. Again, everything that we've talked about today, you're going to be able to find in the event program. You'll be able to find following along our social media, all the details that we'll put out there. Just make sure, again, you get registered starting July 20th. And, I think one of the things that we always tell people, this is a good one, the championship matches.
Oh, yeah.
Every championship match of the 6 championships that we're doing in Pool Dog Arena, we will be live streaming. You're seeing the times on your screen right now. All of these times are Pacific times. All right, so for those of you on the East Coast, add 3 hours to those start times.
Yeah, Jason, you'll be there for each of them, right?
I will be there.
Yeah.
Ava Mattia Lawrence, the striking Viking, will be there commentating those matches with me. So it's always exciting to see which teams make it to Pool Dog Arena. It's always a really great setup in there, a beautiful setup. So we're excited to see who's still alive at that point in each of the tournaments.
It's a blast. The arena's been awesome. Our team's been working together to improve it over the last couple of years, few years. It's really come along. It's an impressive room. You could see it when people walk in. Your team does an amazing job. People can see you guys up there doing your thing. Can't miss it. It's right off the main hall. If you guys are walking by, we get questions all the time. Can I come in and watch? Free to come in and watch. Just got to be respectful of the matches.
Yeah, come in and grab a seat and check out the teams playing the biggest match of their lives on live stream, which is a very cool experience. So other than that, the one thing I always tell people about their experience in Vegas is come out with a good attitude. At some point in your journey out, or maybe during your trip, things are maybe not going to go your way somehow. Maybe, it's a long line at the airport, or your flight's delayed, or you get to the hotel and your room's not ready, or something happens that kind of throws you out of whack for a minute. Don't let it ruin your trip, all right? Try to maintain a positive attitude. Things will happen. It is a big trip, a long trip, and somewhere along the way, something may not go exactly like you want, but again, don't let it affect you having the experience of a lifetime.
That obviously includes winning and losing. We did tell you guys, prepare to be in the championship arena. Think about yourself in there whenever you're packing, right? But understand, only one team in each of these events comes out victorious, right? So, there are going to be losses in here. You guys watching, some of you are going to lose. How you take that, right? How you explore that with the entirety of the trip and how you view it even prior to the match going in will help you if you win or lose in those particular matches. But definitely if you lose, it's a tough thing to see when teams, when they lose. I know that's hard. But if you are letting it pile up, if you're letting the other things that maybe didn't go perfect on the trip feed into that, then you're really missing out on an opportunity to, remember this experience, because it's not always a given, as we've learned. Definitely make sure you take the time to just enjoy.
Yeah. You've really already won by being there in the first place.
Absolutely.
So, I think if you come out there with that attitude, again, like Bill said, you're going to see, if you're in the 8-ball World Championship, I think there's 730 teams.
730 teams.
One of those teams is going to win, and 600 or 729 are going to lose. So, just again, keep your emotions in check. It's okay to be disappointed if you don't happen to win a match, but don't let it ruin the experience of a lifetime is what I would say, because that's really what this is all about, is doing something that very few people get to experience, and you're about to experience it, and it is unlike anything.
15,000 people, we said, of our registered participants. We're over 15,000 with our teams, right? And our organization has 250,000 members in it. So think about all the people that didn't even get a chance to qualify, that these teams have already overcome that hurdle, right? Now they get to experience what everybody else wanted to. It really is what you make of it. So
Absolutely.
Come in positive, you'll have a positive time.
So there you have it, folks. You've got a few things you need to take care of in the meantime. You got to pack properly. You got to get registered for your events. You got to review the event program, and you got to show up with a great attitude. But we're looking forward to seeing all of you in Las Vegas in just a couple of weeks. And with that, we're going to sign off for now. And thanks for tuning in.